and we have our VIPs here in the Zoom room. So those of you ever want to come in off social and come into the Zoom room with us, just message our team at care@saraconnell.com, and we will make sure to get you the secret Zoom link to join us live. So it's Monday. It's December, mid-December. Most people have just checked out for the year. Like, it's too much. There's too much swirl. There's too many things going on. But you all are here to make this the best week of your life so far. That's what we get to do every week in the Thought Leader Lounge. We get clear, we get focused, we get centered in what's important to be the leaders that we came here to be. And then we make a plan to take some action. So we have an incredible guest here today that we're going to do a powerful conversation around marketing and visibility and what you're going to want to be thinking about for the coming year. But before we bring up Rachel to share with us, just want to get everyone in our bodies. Who feels like you're breathing a little shallow today? Just do a check-in. Yeah, some of us, maybe there's a lot, right? There's a lot going on collectively. There's the time of the year. There's Monday energy of like, get stuff done. So let's take a breath together, just breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Letting your jaw relax, letting your spine unknot and unwind. And just really filling yourself with life force, with vitality, coming fully into this exact moment. This is the moment where solutions are found, where breakthroughs happen, where all that is needed, all the enoughness, the abundance is right where you are. So especially at this time of year, it's so wonderful to just get centered. So see if you can feel your feet on the ground. See if you can feel your hips in the chair. If you're sitting, if you're standing, just maybe stamp your feet or move your hips, roll your neck. Just come into the present. And let's think of a win from the last week. Since the last time we were together, we win streak here at Thought Leader Academy, which means great leaders focus on wins and then they build on more wins. Whatever we focus on increases. So I'd love to hear whether you're on social, you can put it in the comments here in Zoom, in the chat. And let's light up this room with this virtual room with some wins from the past week. Did you do some writing? Did you make a pitch? Did you offer your program to someone? Did you work on your talk? Like, what has been going on in the last week that's wonderful? Maybe you took the weekend off and didn't think about work. That's amazing. All right. So I want to hear in the comments in the chat a win. Christina, you had a private event Friday. Kelly, you delivered a well-received talk at a conference. Amy wrote 2 more chapters. Margaret story begged for her book. Yes, Charlotte turned in her first few pages of her manuscript to her editor. Revisions and shared visual journaling on Instagram. Andrea, so exciting. These are great. These are great. We'll go read all the ones on social afterwards. So congratulations. You did your best ever talk at a client's book launch, Anna. Congratulations. That's amazing. Martha got to 7,000 words of writing last week. Courtney signed 2 new clients. Oh my gosh. On fire. On fire. So thrilled for everybody. We're in the middle of an action accelerator in our community. So I'll see many of you at 2:00 today for that. And this is spectacular, spectacular. Franklin, you finished PowerPoint and did a talk. There is major thought leadership going on here, guys. This is fantastic. So if I haven't met you before, I know some new folks joining us. I'm Sara Connell. I'm a best-selling author and the founder of Thought Leader Academy, where we help experts, coaches, and entrepreneurs change the world and develop 10x income by becoming best-selling authors and in-demand speakers. So we call this thought leadership, and you are a part of our Thought Leader Academy family by being here on the show. And we're going to be talking about marketing and visibility and what we need to be thinking about for next year with our special guest, the amazing Rachel Gogos. I'm going to introduce Rachel in just a moment. But I want us to focus this week on like what's going to make this week a win. I heard massive wins from last week. So be thinking as we have Rachel here sharing with us, what's going to be your win that you're calling in for the coming week. That's how you do a win streak. Celebrate what you have created so far, and you call in a powerful win that builds on that momentum. All right. So it's a really incredible practice. And when the top leaders in the world, billionaires, CEOs of major philanthropic organizations and companies, and the most impactful people in the world, they have this habit in common. We call it the win streak, like Dan Sullivan does. You can call it whatever you want, but it's about building, focusing on what's working and building on it. That is one of the habits of the billionaire thought leader, the global leader. So that's what we're doing here. And Karen, you entered in the catalog at the LA Public Library and presented you a certificate, and you got to speak about your memoir. Wow, congratulations. That is absolutely phenomenal. We are going to be talking a lot. I'm going to be bringing you over the next month a tremendous amount of work around what it is going to take to rise in 2024. It is not going to be what we did last year. It's not going to be what we did the last few years. There are very specific things that the people that you're here to serve need to see and hear and feel from you as a leader. And I'm going to be coaching into that in our shows, in our all our content that we're creating for you, leading into our next best-selling book boot camp in January. So I wanted to have Rachel come on today because visibility, building your audience, finding and leading the people you're here to serve is strategy 3 of the Thought Leader Academy pathway. And Rachel is an expert across podcasts and marketing and all things, all the ways that people can be seen and find their people and inspire their people. Rachel has an incredible business where she helps us do that, learn that. And so can you please help me give a huge Thought Leader Lounge welcome to Rachel Galaz. Come on down, Rachel.
Hey, everybody. Good to see you.
So, Rachel, thank you for taking the time. We've all, of course, just presence. It is a wildly busy time, and so sincerely appreciate you being here with us. And just wonder if you could tell everybody just where you live, what you do.
Sure.
Tell us a little bit about Brand ID, and just we'll get into the deeper layers in just a minute.
Yeah, no, great to be here. Thank you. So I live in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I have a remote agency. It has always been remote. I launched the agency in very late 2007. So pre-pandemic, we were already working with a team around the country and clients actually around the world. We help thought leaders and innovators build their personal brand on the web. And what that means is we help establish their presence or their platform if they don't already have one, so they can share their intellectual property, share their services, their products, any offerings they may have in a way where anybody in the world can buy from them. That's the power of the internet. And that's what I love about it so much.
Yes. Well, thank you for doing what you do, because of course we're all here as authors, as speakers, as, entrepreneurs and experts who are needing to find more of the people that we're here to serve, be available to them, be of service to them, help create that transformation. So thank you for your movement. We call that, women leading movements, right? So
yes,
leading your movement. So Rachel, I did want to talk, because my whole focus the next month is on what we need to do to rise within, to rise into a greater level of leadership, and the identity of the true thought leader that you came here to be. And then specifically and tactically, it's like right now we know when things are hard in the world and there's contraction like there is right now, book sales explode. That's like one thing we know. So I want to talk and pair that, because all of you are doing your next book this year, right? You're going to want to pair that with marketing, because we can't just throw the book up on Amazon, expect anyone to find us, right? So Rachel, what are you seeing? Like, what are some trends that you're seeing as you're counseling your clients for 2024? They could focus on social media, they could focus on podcasts, they can focus on email lists, is it everything? Is there one front runner? Talk to us a little bit.
Yeah, no, that's such a great question. Well, I think it really starts with getting very, very clear on who your audience is and working backwards from there. And by clarity, I don't just mean very high level, like it's a person in their 30s who tends to be female, but really drilling down into who this person is psychologically, as well as the demographics. And because that's going to be our guiding principle, or basically how we set our GPS in terms of where we should become more visible, because we want to be where the people are that we want to reach are. We don't want to spend our time on platforms because it's so time consuming, by the way, to become visible on platforms where our potential readers are not going to be very active. And so you also asked, Sarah, what do we need to do to kind of plan for the marketing piece? And I would say planning is actually the number one most important thing that I have seen. Sometimes even our clients try to skip over the planning part and just get into the tactical part.
Right.
And the planning part starts with, the fundamental foundation is getting very clear on who we are, what our mission is, what our purpose is, what drives us, what our core values are, what our convictions are. Because again, this is what's going to help attract to us the people that are most likely to resonate with us and our message. And it's also going to help us be, we hear this word authentic all the time, right? Well, of course we want to be authentic, but getting clear on who we are. And these are simple questions, by the way, but life moves so fast. We don't always take the time to ask ourselves these very grounding questions that do set our GPS. So I would say start with answering some of those basic things about yourself, the impact you want to make in the world, the legacy you want to leave behind at some point, and then get clear on audience. And that will guide where you're active and visible.
So I love this answer because I know there's been times in the past I've listened to certain experts and things, marketing experts, coaching experts, and they'll say, everybody needs to do, this kind of a funnel, or everyone has to have a TEDx talk, or everyone. And it's like, if that doesn't feel authentic, and I know this group here, right? Anyone that's in our community, like, you're not going to do it if it's not aligned. You're just not. You guys are way too evolved for that. You're not going to do it if it's not authentic, if it's not in integrity, if it's not aligned. And so really, Rachel, what I hear you saying is it's even being more nuanced and more going into depth about ourselves, our own values and convictions and mission. And then our people, not just the demographics, but the psychographics, which I've always cared more about always anyway, right? It's like where is someone's come from? What do they believe? What do they need? And then do the planning. Rachel, do you have any hacks? Because our clients tend to not like this recommendation when I say, find out where your people like to hang out. And they all go, I don't know. I want to hear in the chat, in the comments, how many of you don't feel clear? Say me. If you do not feel crystal clear on where your ideal person hangs out, when I say where they hang out, I mean, are they Instagram people? Are they LinkedIn people? Are they podcast listeners? Do they read books? Like, do you, right? So a lot of us are, myself included, seeking more clarity. Rachel, I certainly survey, I poll, what's your favorite podcast? Or, but do you have any little tricks for us that would help us figure out where our ideal person hangs out?
Yeah, definitely. Well, first of all, I have a target audience exercise that I'm happy to share as a Google Doc with everyone. So you all can walk through that on your own.
Thank you, Rachel.
Yeah, absolutely. But sorry, I have a nagging cold that has been with me for a couple of weeks.
You know what? I know a lot of people did. So you just, thanks for pushing through it.
Of course. But what you said, asking your ideal client question. So for many people on here, are you all first-time authors or business owners? Is the book kind of I know it's a way to build your thought leadership, but just wondering what context people have and access to past clients.
Yeah, Rachel, some people are starting a new niche, like they're using the book as actually the portal to be able to become the thought leader in a whole new sphere or a whole new, space. So we have some people that come in, our I don't have the graphic up, but like our thought leader pathway is a continuum with the arrows. So some people like kind of start with the book and build the whole business and thought leadership with the book. Other people have been, a chiropractor for years, a coach for years, have their methodology for quite a long time. And now time to rise to true like industry leader. And so the book is the up leveler. So sometimes the book is portal, sometimes the book is kind of 10xer. And so we've got the spectrum. So whatever, and thank you for sharing. I think that exercise will be really helpful for all of us.
Yeah, totally. So two things come to mind. For those that have had existing businesses, if your book is meant to also target that clientele, feel free to ask the clients that you have a closer relationship with some of the questions on this exercise I'm going to share with you. because that'll, then give you basically like 100% bulletproof info. Because of course, there's always outliers, right? There's kind of our typical, and then there's going to be the person that doesn't exactly follow that bill. For the people who are first timers, and this book is a way to get out there. When you're sitting down to write your book, my guess is that you already have a particular audience in mind for that book that you're creating and birthing. So if you have people in your network, even if they're family members, they can be friends. They don't have to be necessarily a relationship that there's been a financial transaction with. Just sit down over coffee and ask them too, hey, this is my sense about where you're probably most active on social media. These might be some of the publications I think you're reading. These might be some books that I think resonate with you, like based on what you already think, and just run it by them and ask them, because there's no greater way to get this type of information than being able to ask the person directly. And then let's say you don't have access to these people and you're in either category. And maybe for those of you writing books that have existing businesses, perhaps this is going to make you more visible in a different area than what your practice has been. No problem. Just hop onto a Facebook group where, again, like you think some of these people that you're writing for are already active and just put kind of an open question there, such as like, okay, here's another. If you think your book is going to resonate with someone who's read another existing book, let's say different but existing, you can say, hey, have you read X book? If yes, what else do you like to read? Right? As a way to kind of filter through people that might be in a bigger Facebook group.
Totally. And Rachel, I'd recommend we all do all of the above. Ask anyone you have access to. If you don't have clients yet, your network.
Yeah.
And go in some Facebook groups. Rachel, something that I loved in conjunction with this, which I always it feels overwhelming, like, oh, I don't know, but this stuff can take just a few minutes of time. But this is a hack for everybody. Once you either talk to some people in your network or your clients, if you have them, or do what Rachel's saying, go in a Facebook group where you think the people are hanging out. Hey, did you read Atomic Habits? Do you listen to Glennon Doyle's podcast? Do what's your favorite podcast? Kind of see. Then what you can do is go to the host or the author of that book or the host of that podcast, and basically find out where they are spending the most time. So if you want an audience of people that also follow Gabby Bernstein, you can go on her website and her Instagram and see, where is she speaking? Where does she post the most? Now, sometimes these people are omnipresent and they're posting everywhere.
Right.
It's like,
and they have teams
and they have
do that.
But like, you can find someone in the rise. Okay. I'm going to be talking about this all year, you guys, the rise, right? Because we model ourselves on the summit and not the rise. And that's where we get into problems. Go, Brene Brown doesn't need to do whatever. It's like, no, because she's a household name now. But like, what did she do when no one knew her and sold books out of the back of her car? Like, that's what I'm going to be bringing to you guys. I'm going to case study all these people and we're going to plot their rise, right? So the thing is, you can find out where are those leaders that are the other coaches that have, if you're like, oh, there's this business coach who has a similar audience, but I do the kind of health piece. Where does that person post the most? Where do they speak? What podcasts have they been on? And then you go for it. Start showing up in those same places, because the people that like that leader are going to like you too.
Yeah.
They need the piece that person doesn't offer. So I love this, Rachel. Like, this is going to give us some real juice to get over the, I don't know, gremlin, right?
It's so, for me too, right? It's easy when we're doing something new and kind of stretching our comfort zone to say, I don't know, and get a little bit paralyzed by the analysis of the whole thing and where to start. But just think of it as like one simple next step. That's all, just one simple next step. And just, I want to add like a little PS to what Sara just shared, which was brilliant. And that is also comment on the threads of these authors and thought leaders that, again, like are aligned with your subject matter, because over time, your name will start to become more visible to them, but also to people that follow them. So when you're dropping thoughtful comments on this person's commentary, some people will read those comments and actually start to follow you based on what you've said there. It takes time, right? This is all like organic content marketing, tactical activities. It takes time, but it does work over time.
I love this, Rachel, because this is about like everybody can take two action steps from today already. One is to either ask people you know or work with, or go online and find out where you're thinking your ideal people hang out and kind of check into that. And then two, start to just show up now, never selling, right? You're not going to go on Rachel, who am I thinking? Like Rachel Rogers, we should all be
Right.
millionaires, and like pitch your own thing. That would be gross, right? We're not going to do
Mhm.
that. So I want to just distinguish, like, that's not what we're
Mhm.
talking about. But jumping onto someone who is really great in your space or a complementary space. And like Rachel's saying, being thoughtful, if someone posts like, if Mel Robbins posts a whole thing about procrastination, and I just read a really cool study where someone broke down like the neuroscience of procrastination in depth. And I just say, I love what Mel's saying here. In fact, this new, piece just
Yeah.
came out, and it gave me, then again, you're on the radar of that team, you're on the radar of the people as an expert. And so that is just really, that's really cool. So I
Mhm.
love that we've got two tangible action steps. No one's going into 2024 not knowing where your people hang out, where you get to be visible. And Rachel, is there anything else we should be thinking about for next
Mhm.
year that's like a little different that you're advising your clients?
Yeah. So I do have one more third tactical thing, and then I'll answer your question,
Yes,
which is
perfect. Good.
if anybody lives by a Barnes and Noble or a bookstore, right? I think those of us who write books like love bookstores. I love a bookstore.
All
Even
day long.
go to the area of the bookstore where you see your book appearing in the future and see who's standing around there browsing, and even just strike up a conversation with them. And there's nothing like that in-person connection to even for us, right? To see a person get excited about some of the questions we might be asking them pertaining to, say, marketing, right? Um, so in terms of 2024, I feel that people are really overloaded by the amount of content coming at them from all different platforms. So I would just keep your content, not your book, but any marketing tactics, just concise and to the point and easy to consume. And for those of you who are comfortable with video, video's been growing the last couple years. It's still growing and growing. And the reason why is it gives people much deeper interaction with us because it's so full body, right? People see us, people hear us, and people can connect with us a little more deeply. And these can be like short little video snippets. They don't have to be documentary style length, just short little tidbits where you get on a platform again where your audience is. So maybe that's Instagram, maybe that's YouTube, maybe it's a different platform, and just do a little video where you're, speaking directly to the person. And even if you don't have a lot of people showing up, whether it's live or like this, or whether it's pre-recorded, that's okay because people will come back and find it. And later on, when people start to Google you, maybe that coincides with your book launch, this content will show up on these mega platforms. Typically, when someone Googles you, content that appears on these mega platforms like Facebook, Instagram, etc., will rank much higher in Google because they have so many people on the platform. So always good to put some content there. Again,
It's
where your
great.
audience is.
So good, Rachel. I love it. So I want to hear in the comments and chat, everybody, what is one action step? The Thought Leader Lounge is so that we can create a really intentional, powerful week and do something you wouldn't have done if you didn't come here today to the lounge. Like, what's going to be the action inspired by what Rachel has shared, sort of percolating about the different ways that we can really show up and serve in the coming year. What's an action? It might be something you're just going to, meditate on, like something we discussed, an idea today. It might be you're going to go on one of the Facebook groups and kind of do some market research. It might be doing a video that you can show up live. Yeah, thoughtful comments on social, go in a bookstore and strike up a conversation. Yay, that's
Nice.
so great. I love it. YouTube, a 10-minute meditation, Christina, beautiful. Meditations are really taking off on YouTube right now. One of our current thought leader clients is up to over 20,000 views on one of her most recent meditations. So that's a great thing. Post a comment on a thought leader you follow, going to Barnes and Noble, asking your clients where they hang out and go to the, I love it. Everyone's going to the bookstore. I'm going to be in LA this weekend. I know I might be getting to
Nice.
see one or two of you. And there's a bookstore in Santa Monica that I love. And I was there for like 4 hours one time just because I was just into this bookstore and the owners were really cool. We were talking, and everyone that came in, we just started walking around picking out like what's the perfect book for them. Like you could be that person that just lights them up and just, find out what their dream is and their goal, and then help them find. And then they'll ask you, oh, you must, I'm writing a book. I'll let you know when it's out. Right. That's a
Yeah.
reader. This is amazing. Rachel, any last words that we want us to be thinking about?
Yeah. So for Karen Lee, you mentioned that Barnes and Noble turned your book down, but I know that sometimes the local stores have different managers. I wonder if you can just offer to pop in and do like a, coffee with Karen and share your book if there's a different Barnes and Noble. I'm not sure if like the headquarters Barnes and Noble turned you down, in which case I think it's still worth going in person and talking to your local manager. And also like little mom and pop bookshops are great. They're always looking for folks to,
Yeah.
to speak, and your
There's
local library.
There's just rules, you guys, with haven't done a book yet. There's rules depending on what publisher you use. Like certain bookstores, even independent and corporate, they actually are only allowed to feature certain books if they go through certain distribution channels. It's not fair. It just is how it is. So
Yeah.
that's just something that we coach our writers on about when you're picking a publisher. If you want to be able to be in all the bookstores, you need to make sure you pick a publisher that has those boxes checked. But to Rachel's, but not every independent bookstore plays by those rules,
Okay.
so you just like stick with it. Yeah, the local one. Yeah, you can
And
still join.
libraries.
Yeah, library.
Libraries are great. I'm actually on the board of our local library because I love books so much.
Yes.
And we have a very robust library system in Pittsburgh. The Carnegie family left a
Yeah.
lot of money for the Carnegie library system here. So if you have a robust local library system, by all means, like go and offer to do like a meet the author kind of thing.
Yep.
I think that's a great way, even though it's local and really niche, that's okay because we all have friends all over the place. So if you, get a bunch of local people promoting your book. Oh, and then one thing we did with an author a couple years ago, and Sarah, maybe you already talk about this, but offering virtual book clubs,
Yeah,
if your book is
for
appropriate for a
sure.
book club,
For sure.
can offer that right from your website and as part of your marketing. And
Yep.
then also, do you talk about pre-launch book marketing strategies?
Yeah, in Thought Leader
Okay,
Academy. I mean, we can do a
awesome.
whole, we should have you back and do a whole like, Rachel's best of meets Thought Leader Academy stuff, because some of the folks here are training with us and some are,
Yeah,
in the greater community on the show. So I think that's like, I'd love to have you back and do a
I would
whole
love to do
one.
that.
I think that would be really fun. And we can do, would you guys like that? I don't even need to ask. Of course we would, right? It's like, we're going to be doing a big deep dive in Q1 about the book launch, book tours, and book sponsors.
Oh,
Rachel, that's
awesome.
been a big obsession of mine in the last few
Yeah,
years.
yeah.
So yeah, can we thank Rachel so much in the
Thank
chat
you.
and in the comments? And Rachel, how can people contact you if they want help with their marketing, they want to learn more, they want to have more, hands-on support on getting to
Yeah.
actually do the marketing? What's the best way for people to reach you?
Yeah, no, thank you for asking. So my email is just rachel@thebrandid.com. I'll put it right in here in
Awesome.
the chat. And our website is thebrandid.com. There's also just a form on there you can fill out if you need any help
Perfect.
building your online presence.
That's amazing. So you guys, Rachel is putting out incredible content, her own thought leadership, her own wonderful, obviously, she's one of us, so a book lover and thought leader. So
Yes.
check out the brand ID. And if you want help and want to who, not how, your marketing next year, right?
Mhm.
We know Rachel is so aligned with our vision and our community here. So and listen, Rachel and I met at a business mastermind.
Mhm.
So just be thinking for 2024 too about, the answers in the room. And
Yeah.
Rachel, that's one of our principles, here at Thought Leader Academy, the answers in the room. And so, you and I met like just in this
Yeah.
beautiful synchronistic way, and knew that, we can really help support each other and each other's, communities with our different,
Exactly.
kind of complementary expertise. So I think it's really, so we're thrilled you're here. And I think it would be good to talk about the pre-launch. I'm going to be actually rolling out next year a whole new playbook on this because it's
Awesome.
changed what I taught 2 years ago for my last in-person book tour for Science of Getting Rich Woman is like evolved, right? We're in a different time and a lot of it will carry over and there's some new moves. So let's have that
Awesome.
discussion soon. Okay.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for having me on. This was great. Nice to meet you all and best of luck with your endeavors, your book babies, and happy holidays.
Yeah, happy holidays. Thanks, Rachel. So again, let's just light up the chat and the comments on social with some love for Rachel. And I'm really excited Rachel came on because what we're going to focus on these next few weeks until we're back, like working together again in January, is we're going to focus on what are the things we want to be putting into place, like Rachel said, the planning, the intentionality. And I'm actually going to be doing a bonus session with you guys. I think it looks like January 4th. So we'll let you know. We'll be off the lounge for a couple weeks for the holidays, but I'm looking at doing a rise your year session the first week of January so that we can really get realigned, come in after the holidays and go strong from the very beginning of the month. So really excited. Oh, you needed a link for the questionnaire, Maggie. I think just go to Rachel's website. I think
Sorry, I'll send you a link. Sarah, if you can send it out to your lovely members afterwards, but I don't want people to have to opt into anything. I just want to give them access
so
to this.
kind
So
of you, Rachel. That's so
it'll
beautiful.
be
Yeah.
a Google Drive link. So you just make a copy, right? You go file, make a copy, and then you can have it on your drive.
Amazing. That's so generous. So again, let's thank Rachel for sharing with us so we can do this worksheet and really get clear on the information we're going to want to answer about ourselves and our vision for the year and the people we're here to serve. Just so happy to be with you guys. So coming up 2:00 today, Eastern, will be in the Action Accelerator. If you are not already in, and you want to get in so that you actually take action on what Rachel shared today and have your plan ready for next year, please do join us. We can put the link again. If you haven't joined us yet, you can still get in. We're going all the way daily through the 21st of December. And then I'll let you guys know as soon as we schedule the bonus session for the beginning of January so that you get magnetized to your vision right after the new year. And I think those are the only announcements that we need for today. So let's go out and have a powerful week, a week of intentionality, a week of rising into our next level of leadership and contribution. And I know you all have it in you. And that's what you're doing. So great to be with you. See you all soon.